Nice try, sweetie, but I've done this dance before. Stay away from us.
This is the Blood and Black Rum Podcast.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Blood and Black Rum Podcast. I'm Ryan from Coldsploitation.com, and I'm joined with my co-host Martin.
How's it going?
Doing pretty well. We're back again this week. We said we weren't gonna take a break, and we're gonna do a new episode because we got a special event going on. We wanted to make it to the theater, and to be honest with you, this is like only my second time going to the theater in 3 years or so. So it was and the first time with you in a long time. We had
to save my stub.
Yeah. We hadn't been in a while. I think the last time we went was Jackass 2.
Still got that stub.
But
hey, so you know what? It's good to know that the prices went down a little bit. $9.50 for a ticket.
yeah, I didn't think they were bad at all. I think I paid 10 something for my ticket because I used a credit card, but yeah, I didn't think that was bad at all. Well, I mean, and that's we should preface that by saying that's our local theater. It's not like that if you were to go to a big chain, but our local theater is run by a local guy, and he just loves movies, I think, because it's pretty much been what he's done for the last 50-something years. My dad said that when he was a kid, he would go to the movie theater and that guy would be there. So he's kind of a vampire, I think. He's a nice guy. He's a really nice guy.
Go to the old Holiday Inn theater. You get two choices. That's it. See a Lion King or Free Willy. You better choose.
Yeah, the guy that waited on us, he's the owner. Yeah, he just seems to love movies. I'm glad that, I'm glad to be back supporting him. I try to buy snacks and stuff whenever possible. It didn't work out this time since we got there a little late, but
usually Ryan asks for a cup of coffee and the kids have an anxiety attack over it. They're like, oh, what kind of snacks do you want? Do you want some soda, popcorn, snow caps? He's like, no, can I get some coffee? And they're like,
the coffee machine sits dusty and cobwebbed in the back, and they're like they have to press like the emergency button to turn on the power supply to it.
They're like, how do we do?
They're like, normally you people just fucking bring in Dunkin' from across the street. like normal people smuggle it in. We don't want to make the coffee.
Ryan wants that Maxwell house, that chock full of nuts, freshly dusted off, and that cannon's probably been sitting there since 1985. But yeah, it's it's kind of like a modern miracle that place is even still open. Because
it's got to be difficult to keep it running.
Just because we saw it too. This is
this movie that we're talking about. This was opening weekend. We saw it Sunday. It released on Friday.
Was kind of surprising. I was kind of shocked how many people were there.
Yeah,
Sunday night
for our theater. Yeah, on Sunday night.
Because I feel like the last time we went to a movie and it was actually kind of actually packed there is when we saw Halloween 2018. That was actually the last time where I remember the theater being gaps actually crammed.
Yeah, I when I went to go see Knock at the Cabin, probably a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, it was not opening weekend or anything like that, but it was a weekend. No, I guess it was a Thursday maybe or something like that. But anyway, it was definitely not busy. There was maybe 4 other people in the whole theater. So yeah, it's crazy that they're able to keep that thing running, but I'm glad that they are, because it's our only option in the 40-mile vicinity. So it would suck if that went down, because it's all we've got. Yeah, we went to go see. It was exciting to get out to see it in theaters. We didn't see. I guess we'll just reveal. We didn't see Scream, or however you want to call it, Scream 5, whatever you want to call it. We didn't see that one in theaters. That one we just watched.
I don't even think that was around in theaters around here.
Yeah, I don't know. We didn't watch that one in theaters. We just caught it at home, but we wanted to go out and make sure we checked this one out. And as we saw at the beginning of the movie before it started, Courteney Cox also applauded our resolve to get out to the theater. There's an
Please come to the theater. Please, for the love of God, go to your theater.
I think we're gonna spend the next hour just breaking down that opening intro. Before
you know what they should have been? They should have been had Sarah McLachlan there too, like.
Right, but it just pictures of decrepit movie theaters in the background instead of dogs.
This once was a vibrant place for people to get. What's next? Is she gonna go to the mall and be like, please go to your local Hot Topic, Spencer's?
Yeah,
and your Zoomies.
No, it's
Sbarro. Listen, the only place you can get Sbarros is here. Please support your local Sbarros. Get some fresh knots and some Stromboli.
So kind of, are they doing that now? Like, because I haven't, again, I haven't been to the theater in a while. They are like, I know Nicole Kidman is. Nicole Kidman's like, come down to AMC. We've got great seats.
I didn't know that was a thing until I saw Jimmy Kimmel making fun of her. Like, oh, she's finally been allowed out of an AMC theater. Which, listen, to be fair though, they did it to themselves. Well, not the actors, but like the production companies. They went all gung ho. Even if COVID didn't happen, they would have been moving that stuff to streaming services.
Sure.
Because what's easier to do? Just have them pay you, to stream it, then have a building that you got to operate and people run the goddamn thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's going to happen eventually, which, sucks, but
what are you going to do?
Yeah, the wind's blowing that way anyway.
Yeah, and the only thing that I can say good about when they don't release it to a streaming service is that it makes it more difficult to pirate, right? So somebody's got to actually head to the theater, grab their steady handy cam, and fucking set up in the theater, and then record it, and then hope that some guy doesn't come sit down or have diarrhea during the showing and have to keep getting up throughout. So they interrupts all the footage. When you release it straight to streaming, you run that risk of like somebody easily just like, this is so fucking easy. I'll just rip it right from HBO Max, easy. Then you get an immediate pirated copy. But with the ones that are like just released to theaters first, harder to pirate. You got to wait a little bit. So yeah.
Well, I was gonna say sorry to get a little even more off track, which is why it kind of astounds me that they haven't lobbied really hard for to get VPNs to be made illegal. Because your content's only available in this country. All I gotta do is have my VPN set up to pretend I'm here and bingo bango bongo.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I don't know how they would do that, but yeah. So anyway, back to Scream 6, or as the filmmakers in the Scream franchise, moving forward, have been really reticent to give these Scream sequels a number, because even if you look at the Scream 6 poster, they try to cram the Roman numeral 6 into the Scream name. It's like, guys, just put a fucking number in there.
Now the movie's confused because you had Scream and Scream 2, and the 2 was underneath, the Scream logo written kind of in a bloody fashion. And Scream 3 also had that. Scream 4, they added it into the A, Scream 4.
No. The franchise, it's rallying against, numbers. Doesn't matter if they're regular, Cyrillic numbers, Roman numbers, doesn't matter.
Oh, that'd be great if they went to we're using the Cyrillic alphabet for this one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that when they do that.
Then they cram the numbers into they try to put it into a
that and when they make a sequel and they just call it the original to hey, come on, trying to get younger folk in there.
It certainly does get a little bit confusing when you try to talk about those types of movies. Halloween, you always have to, people are adding numbers to it anyway. You're saying Halloween 2018. You don't want to be mistaken for having it be Rob Zombie's Halloween. So you say Halloween 2018.
They should put that in like the parentheses next to it, like you would if you were looking it up on Wikipedia or something. Like Scream 2022, the one.
And that also surprises me. We got Scream 6 so fucking fast. So fast. Like, Scream 5, didn't that release, like, around the same time last year?
Yeah.
Like, maybe February of last year, I want to say. January.
So, like, they pumped it, either pumped it out or maybe they shot it, like, not back-to-back, but pretty close.
Yeah.
Like, the way they went.
Yeah, we got it really fucking fast. And you know what? Sometimes that can be a good thing. Sometimes that can be a bad thing. And I guess we're here to talk about how we feel about Scream 6. And I will be honest and say I am still not entirely sure how I feel about Scream 6. So using this podcast as a little couch session to talk out my feelings and frustrations about.
I feel like that was Scream 5 too.
Well, yeah,
I don't know.
I agree. I mean, I think that Scream 5 was very similar in that sense that I was like, not quite sure how I feel about this one. And that we kind of had to sit through it and talk about what were our likes and dislikes. And I think that that's going to be much the same for this episode. It is surprising too, to me, that I've been looking around at, various reviews, and I don't really read reviews, especially if I'm going to do a show before or write a review or something. I don't really read other people's reviews in depth because I really don't want to be swayed by them, especially when I haven't really formed a insane opinion on it yet. But I have been looking at like the ratings that it's been getting, and I was very surprised to see pretty much across the board this is getting like a 4, a solid 4 average, or even like a 7.5. I think IMDb has it around a 7.3. Very surprised by that. I was expecting it to be a bit lower than that, and I think that my rating is not going to be as high as what the average is. So we'll leave it at that for right now. We've gone on long. We've been just doing intros for a long time. So let's take a break real quick and talk about what beer we have on the show. And you know what? Let me do a transition so that we know that we transition into beer talk. Because I normally don't do a transition, and normally we'd throw like an ad. We'd be like, "Hey, do you like stamps? Then check out stamps.com." Stuff like that. But
is that one of our ads?
we don't have any sponsors.
How about Manscaped?
Blue Chip.
Shave your Roman. Get Roman. So, you're I hear that one a lot from all my sports podcasts because it's for the older male demographic with ED, and it's like, give yourself a pill if you got dick problems.
Do you like video games? Then you should check out the energy drinks that we sponsor a bunch of Twitch streamers with, because that'll obviously make you as good.
Go to a GameStop. Oh, wait. That's a relic of yesteryear, too. That's what we should do. Like, just like slowly get like, come.
Yeah.
Go to Blockbuster.
Yeah. Like down here at Circuit City, we have all of your favorite VHS tapes.
Staples. They got them.
They did.
So today we got a nice new special beer that you went and got for us today on a whim and a lark, because you didn't think of anything.
Yeah, honestly, this beer I probably should have left for like our Easter episode if we're gonna do one. It's not quite Easter time yet, but you know what? It's all right. It's
pretty close.
Yeah, it's pretty close. And I don't know if we will end up doing an Easter episode because there's not a lot of Easter movies. It's not something that comes up in horror movies that often. So
yeah, well, after last year, I don't think I wanted to do another Easter horror film.
Well, then that's, at least 2 or 3 different holidays that you're refusing to do anymore horror movies on. We got St. Patty's Day. We've got Easter. I think you've also said that you would rather not do any Thanksgiving horror movies anymore after the last one we did too. And probably you can throw New Year's in there too, because we've already done the definitive New Year's one. So
Literally just scraping the bottom of the barrel. You're like, let's do Critters too.
Oh, so we probably won't return to Easter movies this year, but this beer is, kind of situated around Easter, because it is Thin Man Brewing Companies, and I actually didn't know this, but it's in collaboration with Replay Brewing, who I'm not familiar with, don't know them at all. Thin Man Brewing is in Buffalo, New York, so
Go Bills.
a little ways down from us, but
Go Bills.
we have the Carrot Cake Sour. It's called Cute and Fuzzy Bunny Gang. And it's a carrot cake sour. And this one really stuck out to me because I saw Thin Man post about it, and I saw our local beer store posted that they had it. And I was like, you know what? That sounds truly grotesque. But at the same time, I'm interested to try it because, you know what? I am not really a carrot cake fan. I'm not a huge cinnamon and spice fan, to be honest with you. Like, anything that has lots of spice and cinnamon is something that I really kind of stay away from, especially in the dessert realm. In beer, I'm a little bit more lenient with it. But I'm not a huge fan of carrot cake. But it's still,
I do.
I had to try.
I like carrot cake. I like it quite a bit. But like again, it's like one of those things that like it's either gonna be really good or like ugh, like you got it wrong. So, and I do like the spice. I like the nice cinnamon spice and like coriander and allspice. Like just gives you that nice warm feeling and it's delightful.
I think it's mainly allspice and cinnamon, right? Is that what makes a carrot cake a carrot cake? Because then you got like it doesn't go into pumpkin pie territory. It's different spice.
Yeah. Something I don't know. I just like it. That's all I know.
You don't bake it. You just like it.
No, I just like it. Well, this is pretty good. I like this quite a bit actually. I wouldn't go out of my way to drink it often because it is kind of like it's weird. Mm-hmm. Take a sip of it now. It's definitely a sour. Mm-hmm. It's tart. It's pretty tart. I'm kind of been puckering my lips a little bit. Not as bad as like in the old days. But it's really sour. Really tart. Definitely has a nice like cinnamon and allspice flavor to it. Yeah, really nice. Goes well with it. It is kind of weird. It's definitely like a dessert sour kind of. It's kind of got a vanilla taste to it too, like the frosting on it at the back end. Like I said, I like it a lot, but it's not anything I would ever really go out of my way to probably have again. Mm-hmm. Just because it's so kind of unique.
Yeah, I mean, I like for not liking carrot cake and those flavors that much, I think this is pretty good. It surprised me right away that it was so tart. I was not expecting, I know it says sour, but I was not expecting it to be as tart as it is. I was expecting more spiciness to it than what I got. Like almost like more like a winter spiced, with sort of like a sour aspect to it. So I was pleasantly surprised by the sourness, the tartness of it. And honestly, the cinnamon and the allspice flavor, even though it is slightly weird, it actually works really well. It's a weird pairing, but it does work, and it's not like you don't recoil in disgust from it. I think that it really has an interesting and unique flavor to it, especially if you do like cinnamon. Again, the cinnamon is kind of, it's tame. It's not like you're going to get smacked in the head with cinnamon. So, even if you don't like a lot of cinnamon, I think this would be a palatable beer. There's not, I wouldn't say that, though it is brewed with carrot, I wouldn't say that there's like a really heavy carroty flavor to it. Would you?
No. I mean, but that's like the same thing with carrot cake, though.
Right. It's like just a very mild, like, flavor to it. And
It's just kind of there to add to it. It's not like
add bulk to it.
right. Yeah.
Get your veggies in. And you're right too. You do get kind of that frosting-esque flavor at the end. It's not, it's not overly sweet. But you do get kind of like that vanilla-y frostingness to it. I think this is a really interesting beer. That's kind of why I wanted to try it because, sure, you can have a whole bunch of IPAs and throw different citrus in there, but carrot cake sour is something that I really have never seen or had before. So I had to try it, and I'm actually glad I did. I like you, I probably wouldn't go out of my way to be like, I gotta have, weekly, I gotta have my carrot cake sour. But, for a unique take on this, I think it's a pretty good experiment. Really pleasantly surprised by it. So definitely check it out if you have the option to.
If you've had their Minky Boodle, this is it's like that same level of tartness too. Because the Minky Boodle is like extreme, it's a raspberry sour, but it's extremely tart.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But definitely check it out. But it's around. It's like it's unique enough to like, oh yeah, I gotta try that. Looking at their menu for some of the foods that they got at their place in Buffalo, and some of the wings they got look really good.
Of course.
Nice garlic, honey, Cajun, Bliss IPA, brown sugar, mustard.
Mm.
The Minky Brutal, barrel brine. Guashong, sweet chili. I'm probably butchering that, but nice Cuban sandwich with pulled pork and melted Swiss, and oof.
Anybody listening out there too? The Barber residence is having a St. Patrick's Day party next weekend, so bring beer and come on down.
If anything, though, I would get the smoked Wetkin cheese. Nice, beef on wet.
You're a wet boy.
I love beef on wet.
I don't think I've never had it before. There's one style of sandwich I've never had.
You would literally love it because you love French dips. It's literally basically a French dip, but it's on a Kemmelwick roll.
Of course. We're next weekend. We're having Rubens, homemade Rubens. So be prepared.
Ooh. No, you should be telling your wife that. You're going to be ripping ass.
Yeah, that is true. That's true. Probably will be.
You don't have to tell me to be prepared. I'm not going to be anywhere around for the,
the fireworks later. Yeah. All right. So, yeah. What is this called? Cute and Fuzzy Bunny Gang. Check that out. Especially for Easter. Give it to your grandma.
Ooh, they have a chicken souvlaki pizza at one of their places.
Oh, I just had a chicken souvlaki platter tonight that ran through me. So,
garlic oil, marinated chicken, pepperoncinis, Roman tomatoes, red onions, spinach. But ooh,
sounds delightful. Okay, all right, we got to get on to Scream 6 because we are just blasting through time, and we haven't even talked. We have not talked about the movie at all yet. So. We got to do that. So let me throw my transition in here. We'll throw a different one in this time. Oh, that was a different one. Oh, what the fuck? I don't know. That's why you're supposed to preview those transitions before you throw them into live recording. But you know what?
No. That's
how we do. That's how we do. Yeah, it's Howard Stern over here.
Yeah, listen. This is why I was saying we got to go to Monday Night Raw when they come to Albany. Live wrestling.
We'll do it live.
Live podcast. Fuck it.
Yeah.
That should be on. You know what? Now they got your soundboard. Add that to that.
Yeah, we'll have to. I haven't really built it out yet. I was actually looking for a Scream clip. Just like a. I was thinking I was gonna get what's your favorite scary movie, obviously, but I couldn't find one that was a good quality, and I didn't have time to put it together myself. So, and then I was also looking for because I was gonna ask you how did you feel about this movie, and then. Whatever you said, I was going to play wrong answer. But I couldn't get that one either, so we're stuck with.
I say, don't lie. You've been too busy playing Yakuza Like a Dragon to.
That is true. That's true. All right, so Scream 6, where do we begin? I think the first area that I want to begin with is probably the introduction, like the opening scene, because a lot of people are
greatest intro ever to a film.
You think so? A lot of you. That's what a lot of people are saying. That they're like, "Wow,
it's the smartest thing I've ever seen in my life."
Well, I can see from a certain perspective, it returns to the roots of Scream in that it sets up you thinking that your main character that's, being presented to you, what was her name? What is it? Guess we're kind of ruining it here. Laura, her name Laura. She's even on the poster, for Christ's sakes, played by Samara Weaving. Who
That's Margot Robbie. Don't lie to me.
I know they do look very, very similar. You probably know her from Ready or Not or Bill and Ted Face the Music. She was in that sequel. But I think she's mostly well known for her work in Ready or Not. So you're kind of thinking when you see her, it's like a Drew Barrymore moment from the first movie. You're like, oh, okay, she could be okay. She's not okay.
I was gonna say I don't know about that. Looking at her fucking credits, it's kind of hard to like. She didn't have Drew Barrymore's like filmography at that point.
No, but she does have that sort of like name recognition that I think people would probably recognize at this point. And it kind of has that same connotation of like what's gonna happen, and you know what, it goes the same way Scream does. And I don't know, like we're probably going to talk about this more, but part of the thing with Scream 6 is that it goes in a lot of the same directions as the previous films in the franchise, and in a lot of ways the film wants to have its cake and eat it too. It wants to be commenting on franchises as a whole, in a meta sense, and saying, hey, look at what franchises do. Like, we're recreating a franchise here. And here's the meta version of it. And at the same time, it also wants to benefit from copying exactly what has been done previously and not really going above and beyond in what it does to try to get outside of the boundaries of what the Scream franchise has done before. So I think like that's going to be a common theme that we come back to in this episode, talking about how Scream 6 both kind of does harken back in like a requel sense where it throwing all these Easter eggs at you and things that you should recognize from the previous films in the franchise. And at the same time, it's kind of using that to its advantage to just be like, here's events in this movie and you've seen it before, but we're going to get away with it. So, I mean, I think that's kind of what it does in this, this opening scene where we get stalking scene. And I think the cool thing about this scene is that it does, it is populated by a lot of people in this opening scene, which is really cool because, the previous Scream franchises have all been set in Woodsboro. They've always been damsels in distress alone, people alone in their house. And in this case, this is set in New York City, and we get a heavily populated bar scene that's happening right in town, right in the city.
Well, I was going to say, don't forget about Scream 3. That's in L.A. And
True.
Poor, Patrick Ward. No, he gets killed later. It's killed off.
Not as populated as like what we get. And you could say that about Scream 2 as well. College, a little bit more populated, but this one though, you're getting a lot of people on the street, and it almost feels like, in a sense, you're safe because you've got so many people around you. I would say, though, that one thing that kind of takes that away, probably 10 years ago, people would feel more safe in crowded spaces. I don't know if I feel like that anymore with, the casual public shootings that happen across the board now in the United States. But, people tend to think with slashers, open spaces, public spaces, lots of people, you're relatively safe.
This isn't Shafts, New York.
True. No, this is not 1970s New York City.
This is Bill de Blasio's New York, rising, becoming something.
So I like the idea of setting this in New York, of having a much more populated area. And this opening scene does have that, where Samara, however you say her name, Samara, whatever you say, Laura, is lured down a dark alley because she thinks like this guy's just lost, lures her down the alley. it is a stupid thing for her to do.
Especially because they have the discussion about she's a professor in film studies, and she specializes in
horror movies and slashers.
And slashers, and they discuss, a little bit of the tropes, and then, it is like kind of like a nice touch, but I mean, that's like
really on the nose.
Really, is there a film professor out there who's like, by the way, I specialize in slasher films. If you need to know about New Year's Evil and how
honestly,
how forward going it is, I can tell you every little bit.
Well, honestly, fellow podcaster Rebecca McKendry would probably take offense to that, because she is exactly that. I think she is a professor, a film professor specializing in horror movies. So there really is that out there.
No, I'm not saying horror. I'm saying slasher. Like, really, like
in this movie, a little on the nose for sure. But I like all this, and I like the fact that this is a red herring where we immediately have Ghostface unmasked. And I guess we probably don't need to do this, but preface this with saying there will be spoilers in this. Undoubtedly. Don't listen to this if you have not seen the movie. But anyway, like I really like that it immediately reveals a Ghostface, and we kind of follow him and figure out what his motivations are, and he's working with another guy, and then, hey, wait a second. No, that's not our main Ghostface in this movie, because he gets murdered right away. And there's kind of that double murder right at the beginning of the movie. I like that. I think that's a cool idea. I don't know that the opening is spectacular, but I do think it's kind of cool. And one thing that I'll come back to as well about the opening and Scream 6 in general is I do think it's trying a little too hard with its meta, because we do see in the background of all of the apartments walls in this guy's apartment, he's got like the last podcast on the left posters, and
you didn't like the fact when they're like, oh, why'd you kill her? She's your film professor. Fuck her. She gave me a C on my paper on Jallos.
Yeah. They wrote a paper on Jello. He almost said it like Jello too, which I found a little off-putting, but
offensive.
Off-putting, get it? But even in that scene too, somewhat on the nose, but I guess people were going to be offended if it didn't happen. You got Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan playing in the background, which clearly...
Also, too, Scream, if you were going to go that route, should have waited for the 8th film to hit New York.
That's right.
Ghostface hits Harlem and make it blaxploitation. There you go. See, I can do this, too.
So, I mean, those are my muddled thoughts on the opening. What did you think about it? Did you dig it? Did it get you into the movie?
It was good. I liked it a lot. It was pretty clever. Full, intense. And then how, like, after the professor's dead, then it just okay, Scream, roll title card, and then it keeps going, and then we get, the killer being stalked in his own apartment. That was really good. The problem, though, and this is a little unfair, the problem is there's 3 other films that have better intros than this. Obviously Scream 4, and Scream 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because first Scream with Drew Barrymore, that intro is iconic. Scream 2, even better, with the Jada Pinkett Smith bullshit in the movie theater, and also funny. And Scream 4
in public too. Well,
yeah,
we kind of said that. Yeah. It doesn't take place in public spaces, but that one does.
And then Scream 4 with the meta, like super meta. Oh, this is bullshit. Oh, this is and it keeps kind of looping. That might just be me because I'm a pretty big mark for Scream 4. I love it. But this is good. I think it was a good start. But I mean, again, Scream's got really good, outside of Scream 3 and Scream 5, Scream's got really good intros. So And it's going to always be really hard to kind of top the next one because Wes was always on, and Kevin Williamson were on top of the game when it comes to how to kind of introduce the film and kind of some of the themes in it. Here, like, it's kind of like Scream 2, but they just kind of just up the ante a little bit. There's not really a theme to go with it, which makes kind of the whole, like, the meta stuff that goes on, later, kind of, yeah.
Yeah. So getting into the movie proper, we find out that our main protagonist from Scream 5, mainly Jenna Ortega's character Tara, and her sister Sam, played by Melissa Barrera. They've moved to New York. She's going to a college in New York.
Dumb. Which, by the way, dumb. Who is telling this fucking kid, you live in California, why don't you fly all the way out to New York to go to college? What a waste of money.
Well, they wanted to get away. They wanted to get away from everything, right? They wanted to go cross country.
So New York's the place. You know where you need to go if you want to, like, lie low or something? Like Bismarck, North Dakota. You don't need to go out to fucking New York. Dumb.
True.
Like,
and not only that, but they've managed to find the swankiest apartment for two young, not working people.
In their 10 roommates. Hey guys, we're all down in Tribeca, and this apartment that we have is also like a ridiculous amount of square footage. This will be $12,000 a month. So we're gonna need like 10 other people on this lease, and then a couple of people to sublet on too, because
I think there's actually a Portlandia skit about that where it's like they got a gigantic loft, but they couldn't afford to pay for the loft, so they had to keep getting more people onto the lease. That's pretty much what it's like in this movie, because yeah, you got Tara, you've got Sam, and then you find out they've got another roommate, Quinn, who's just banging the mail boy and anybody else who walks by, as they are want to point out in this movie. Not only and paper thin walls too, we should say. So the 16 people living in this one apartment have to listen to Quinn squealing. But yeah, they've got all these people living there. They've also, Chad, and
so both the Meeks twins are there.
Yep, and Chad and Mindy, they both come with. So they're, Chad has really lived up to the name Chad. He's gotten ripped to shit. And you've got basically they're the core four is what they deem themselves. They've all moved together, and you know what too? The thing that I think is pretty funny is everybody got into the same college too. It's pretty like
yeah, they all got
serendipitous.
All got into this school, Blackmore, like this Columbia stand-in bullshit. Like,
yep.
Dreams really do come true in movies. Like,
it really does, yeah. So it's a very serendipitous moment for them all to get that college letter saying, "Hey, we realize you just went through a mass homicidal event, so good news."
Shouldn't Chad be like down at like UCLA or something? Like, guys, I couldn't quite get in, like, damn it.
At least in Scream 2, they didn't treat it like everybody got into that college.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, so they're all there. They're all in NYC, and they've they've kind of settled into their lives, and then all of a sudden, hey, they find out there's this ghost face that's attacking people again in New York City, and they it happens to take place just around Halloween as well. So of course,
how'd you like the Halloween frat party?
I am extremely annoyed by Scream 6's use of Halloween in general. It feels tacked on, like they wanted to benefit from the fact that ghost face masks would be used on Halloween, because there are always those people, those assholes who are like, You know what would be so topical and funny? There's just murders going on with this Ghostface guy. What if I wore a Ghostface mask too? Yeah. So they're kind of they're banking on the Halloween element to that to, show that people are, kind of assholes and they're wearing the Ghostface mask. And, it's also kind of a jab at Tara and Sam who have not been believed after the events of Scream 5. They, people think that they kind of planted the evidence and stuff.
It also doesn't work like Scream 2, because in Scream 2, there's literally a film coming out about what happened in Scream, and they're like, it's all promo bullshit, and so you got, everyone with their knives and the Ghostface mask. Oh, I can't wait to see this fucking movie. Luke Wilson's in it. Yeah. And here it's like, it's just kind of dumb, especially now that it's been 30 years of this going on, like they're on their, ninth fucking Scream, Ghostface killer, and everyone's, it'd be cool if we wore Ghostface masks. Isn't that, that's so topical. Same thing too with the whole conspiracy idea. So dumb. Dumbest meta plot of all the Screams so far. Oh yeah, we got last year when Ghostface was killing people, it wasn't Richie, it was Sam.
Right, and it's kind of spread, and people have taken that in, and they started blaming Sam, and they actually have made Riley into
Richie
into a
hero.
I don't know, a hero, somebody that they look up to, and they
what is he? What is that supposed to be standing for? QAnon?
Kind of, or Kyle Rittenhouse or something like that.
It's just dumb. It's just poorly thought out and poorly executed. It's just so dumb. I can't imagine after these murders that happen in Woodsboro, there'd be. I mean, I could see it happening, but at the same time, it's just fucking stupid. People be that invested. No, it's just cover up. It's Pizzagate. They're sucking the blood out. Where's the Alex Jones in this being like, listen, this was really happened down in Woodsboro. They're all crisis actors. None of them died.
Yeah.
You need that to kind of sell it, not just some guys.
Yeah.
Some guys
podcast or something.
Not that, some people went on Reddit in this universe, and they're like, hey, what if it was Sam that was the killer? Because Billy Loomis is her father. So
yeah,
she's got to be a psychopath.
Yeah, I didn't love it either. So we get this core four, how they deem themselves, and
stop calling them out.
I know. To be honest with you, it's been little over a year since I saw the last one. I did not remember very many people from that Scream 5, so that kind of goes to show you how forgettable I felt Scream 5 was, because I really I was kind of meeting these characters again for the first time for the first 20 minutes that were there. I'm like, who is this one again?
You want to know why they're calling themselves the Core 4?
Why?
For that franchise bit of hey guys, this is a new franchise with new characters. Get used to these assholes, because you're stuck with them. Core 4.
Pretty much, yeah.
Nev Campbell, she didn't want to to be in here because she wasn't getting paid enough. Fuck her. Core 4. Let's go. We killed David Arquette off.
Yeah, I mean,
so let's go.
Honestly, I think that I'm not saying that I don't enjoy the characters that we have. I think that Jenna Ortega is really good as Tara. I think that's who I gravitate to. I think Melissa Barrera is fine as well. I don't really find Sam to be that interesting of a character, though. I don't really think that the whole Billy Loomis being her father thing is that interesting of an idea to follow it for not one but two movies now, where we kind of have this return to her kind of hallucinating, seeing him. And plus, we definitely don't need to see Skeet Ulrich anymore in close-up moments, because he's definitely starting to look more his age, and I don't think that it's as effective anymore to see him, even if we're seeing him in like a reflection or something. I still don't think that it's effective to see him in that reflection because it's noticeable that he's doesn't look like Billy as much anymore. You know, I think that like they got to stop doing that because especially in this movie, they really they gave him a little bit too much of a highlight there, and
You didn't want to see a ski with a cigarette. Like, come on.
yeah, I think
kill them all.
they gotta stop running back to that because again,
Cigarette in hand, like, come on, Sam, kill him.
Like,
do it.
they already kind of did that in Scream 5, you know, where there was like, well, is she really the killer? Is she being influenced by her family craziness? And I think like they try to do it again too much here as well. Like I really am not interested anymore in getting this perspective of her potentially like being crazy and following through on her.
Also, too, with how well fucking Halloween Ends went over like a fart in church. The whole like, ooh, evil possesses, you know. It might be good at the end of the film. She drops the mask. Like, okay, drop that threat. No one wants to see that. Okay, yeah.
So after the Ghostface killings happen, we have Sam and Tara. They're like, obviously concerned. They're like, holy shit, there's Ghostface in New York City, and we feel targeted. And then, like almost right away after they see the news report, they're targeted. They get a call from Ghostface with the same voice modulator. And so from that point on, they're pretty much on the run, from Ghostface. There's some really good elements to being in New York City that the film takes advantage of. One of them being they kind of stop at a convenience store while they're being chased by Ghostface.
Hey, it's New York City. It's a bodega.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Bodega. Sorry.
You don't want would have been great if it was the bodega that Aki guy works at. Like, hey, can I get this Yaki way? Sure. I think he gets shot or stabbed or something. That would have been cool. I do like the nice, Midnight Cowboy kind of reference of instead of hey, I'm walking here. It's they run in, they're like, help us, please. The guy's like, there's a fucking line here. Then, he gets stabbed.
Yep. I mean, I like that fact of them going in there and Ghostface, is pursuing them, and you're like, he won't stop into the bodega. It's too crowded in there. He's not going to take advantage of that. And then he does. He blasts in. He steals the shotgun and then
which is great.
Off.
Like I said, which is great too, because the shop owner busts out a shotgun and is like, I'll protect them. And then he gets killed, and then usually, like in a horror film, I'm not gonna grab the shotgun. It's a slasher. I'm gonna use my knife. No, he picks that motherfucker up and he's like, upgrade.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it is a cool moment. I know some people probably disagree. Slashers should stay slashers, but I think it's a really cool moment where he picks up that shotgun, and it is actually pretty terrifying to be in an enclosed store like that, pursued by a guy with a shotgun. I think it, again, it matches sort of the worldly things that are happening right now. Contemporary elements that we all kind of fear. I think that it works really well. So I really like that element of being in New York City, having things like that happen. The other thing that works really well is later on in the movie, we have them getting into a subway, and that subway, there's a little bit of, usage of Halloween in there to facilitate what they're doing. But basically, they're surrounded by a lot of people. You think you're safe in a subway car, and all of a sudden, they're surrounded basically by people in Ghostface masks that they don't know who they can trust. And it's a pretty cool moment where you have the subway cars constantly flickering lights. I would argue Hey Arnold did this a little bit better with their, their haunted train. But
this is my house, and I get to say who can stay in here. Come on, fat boy, breathe all the air you want.
But I still think it's a pretty cool moment when you have the Ghostface who's just kind of like staring Mindy down in that subway car, and then the lights flicker on and off, and then he's kind of moved again and moved again. I think it works pretty well. I would have liked to have seen the movie use more New York City elements to it, to its advantage. I think that we get a few, and then it kind of stops. It kind of loses some of the New York City feel to it, and kind of feels like any other kind of Scream. But I think for what it does with New York City, it is a cool locale for the film to try to change things up a little bit. And, for the most part, I think it works. When it doesn't work is when you get fucking weird plot holes to the movie. So, one of the big things in this movie is that they enlist the help of Quinn's father, Detective Bailey, who's played by Dermot Mulroney. And he's a cop. And after Quinn is murdered, he's kind of fully invested into the investigation, and he gets kicked off the investigation, actually. And so he's kind of working...
Which makes sense, because...
Right? Too close to it. You're too close! You're too close, Bailey! So he kind of does his own investigation off the force, and he works with Tara and Sam and Mindy and Chad to kind of figure out who the killer is. And what doesn't work so well is the film's twist, where there's a lot of well, I don't know. It's hard to talk about this in a linear manner because we're not going through it like, scene by scene. But, obviously there's a lot of plot holes in the development of the storyline that if you sit and think about them too long, you're like, that makes no fucking sense whatsoever. So one of them is that Kirby comes back. So Kirby, Hayden Panettiere, as you like to say, I'll let you say your favorite.
Oh, Hayden Pants in the Air.
She comes back
with a rockin' Karen haircut, and I felt bad after I said it because I was like, man, what happened to her? She looks like she's 45 years old, because she's our age, actually. And you're like, oh, she did drugs and alcohol. Now she's sober. It's like,
yeah, I think she had some issues with substance abuse, and then obviously great for her. She bounced back and got sober, and she's coming back to Scream. But yeah, I think that was part of the reason.
I don't know if it's the hair, if it's like her actual hair, or if they gave, like I was saying before we got on the podcast, if they Courteney Coxed her and they're like, listen, your contract says you got to wear this fucking stupid wig, and you're gonna wear this stupid fucking wig because it's such like the total like helmet hair Karen haircut of like, let me speak to your fucking manager. I asked for no croutons in my salad. You gave me fucking croutons. My teeth are brittle. They can't chew this.
Oh yeah, she's definitely chewing out that manager about her.
and like the poster doesn't know favors
yeah, I
too.
don't know.
Like if you looked at like the poster, you'd be like, who is that?
Yeah.
Who's that woman with the helmet hair?
Oh. I don't know if this is an intentional thing, because obviously the film is at times making light of the FBI cop procedural that would take place in a CBS drama,
but at this
CSI.
It makes sense though, because at this point, like, okay, we're on like a 10th Ghostface killer. The FBI would be involved. It wouldn't be like, all right, sleep with the NYPD to figure out, they'd be like, no, like they'd be sending somebody down for the serial killer squad, like, he's at it again, who's it this time?
Yeah. And so one of the biggest things with Kirby coming back, and now she's an FBI agent, is that she gets transferred to this same detective precinct to work on the Ghostface killings. And later on, it's revealed that she actually is not part of the precinct that she's the FBI field office that she says she is. She was let go from that, and no one bothered to check.
I think it's a lie, because with who ends up being the killer, who it comes from.
It could be. It's just funny though, like that could even be a possibility. No one would have checked on this FBI agent that just randomly shows up at the office. It could be the coffee guy from down the block. He just shows up one day and like, yeah, I'm an agent now.
No, I think she's I think she's an actual FBI agent. But because like if you hear who ends up being one of the Ghostface killers saying like, oh no, she was terminated, she was going crazy, give you the red herring of like Kirby's the killer. So, but I mean, still, it's kind of ridiculous, so that she would show up and at this NYPD precinct, and people wouldn't be like, there wouldn't be like the cat case. This is Special Agent Kirby, Poopy Pants from Atlanta to take over. This is Saw policing.
It's
all it needs is Costas
really
Mandalore
is.
to show up to like give me that full like, yes, here we go.
Well, like I was saying when we were watching this, like the poor guy at the precinct who just keeps getting handed more files. Like, yep, there was another attack down the street. Yep, they just hit down here at this party, at a college party. Like the guy's just like pulling his hair out. Like,
That's why.
how do you expect me to respond to all of these? I'm already at the one crime scene. What do you want me?
Jerry
How do you want me to get down the?
He isn't with us anymore, so we don't have Jerry Orbach to show up. Back in the good old days of the Law and Order. Showing up to be like, another dead body, and give your little nice one-line quip, and so you can hear dun 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 dun, bam, Dick Wolf Show, bam, bam, bam.
Yeah, in true movie making fashion with police forces, they got one guy working on this. One guy fueled by coffee and donuts. Who shows up to work in his suspenders every day.
Speaking of, where's our Dick Wolf
Strapped in, ready to go.
I would pay to see that. Get the.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of what they were going for. Like, if I am right on the money with how they were trying to treat Kirby there, but it is kind of funny that that's how they always depict like police force. They're like, they got no idea what's going on. We need to have Scooby-Doo gang over here to figure it out, because they're police, they don't know anything.
Well, because for the most part we had Dewey, and Dewey is always like the lovable goof, and then took Scream 3 for Bailey to show up, and he's kind of competent, but not like he's a crit.
They murdered that other that other chick too, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, from Scream 4. Yeah, she got killed in the last movie.
Mm-hmm. So, well, the other thing that I think is really silly too is the reveal that there's this gigantic ghost face museum that's been opened up in town. It's like a giant like warehouse that someone has leased out, and they're originally thinking that it was leased out by these two college kids. You're like, I don't know. Kirby's like, I don't know. We checked their financials and nothing there. And like, Gail comes along and she's like, well, I'm an investigative reporter. And you know what? I found it. Like, okay, how are they renting like a $10 million warehouse downtown and nobody knows about it? Not only that, how do they have 9 masks from the Ghostface killings and nobody realized they were missing? They're like, oh, you notice that like Billy's mask is gone, and his knife, and his robe, and all the files, and the shirt that he was wearing.
Somebody was able to steal the Robin Bridger shit. What the hell's going on here?
I know. It's fucking ridiculous. Every police force was just like, I don't know where it went. Must be Storage Wars came through.
American Pickers.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, no. It's like the most Saw aspect of this. Like, it's like,
oh yeah,
like
it's very Saw-like.
Fucking going into like Jigsaw's temple, which by the way, we did see Jigsaw in theaters together. I forgot about that.
Yeah, we did.
Not Jigsaw, Spiral.
Yeah, like the one time where they go. This is after the whole Ghostface encounter and everything, and the finale. They come in through the gated door. Whoa, I definitely got Saw vibes there. It's like, watch out for that trap.
Danny Glover, watch out, you're going to get blasted with a shotgun.
Yeah, definite Saw vibes from the warehouse there. For sure. What do you, what?
Which is just kind of funny, because, like, ain't that something that's just totally fallen out of the zeitgeist over the past couple of years.
Yeah. What do you, we haven't really talked about too much, but what do you think about the brutality of Scream 6 and Ghostface's murders?
It's definitely one of the highlights of the film. To see how visceral and brutal the kills are and the violence is in this film. It's definitely a spot where they stepped up and it works. Um, it's actually interesting to see the brutality that Ghostface inflicts in this film, because usually it's just, some stabs, and it's not even really we get to see any of the stabs. Here it's all shown. We get to see, Ghostface stabbing people several times, shooting somebody in the head with a shotgun, stabbing somebody in the gut, and then seppuku ripping up and So that's pretty nice. It is a nice touch that they made the violence in this a lot more visceral. It definitely sticks with you.
And they kind of make note of that too. Like Mindy says, franchise films, they have to kind of go above and beyond, right? So, because she gives a whole rundown, like a Randy rundown of what a franchise is like, instead of just your normal.
Which is dumb, by the way. We're in a franchise. No shit. You're on your sixth adventure now. Yeah, you're in a fucking franchise. Because again, the original, Randy. All right, this is how you survive a horror, slasher film. Second one, this is a sequel. This is how you survive the sequel and the rules to a sequel. And then the third film, if this is what's going on, this is how you survive another sequel. But if this is it, it's a trilogy, which means this is the end, which we didn't get. And then Scream 4, they kind of play off the fact that, okay, this has happened before. It's all kind of very similar. How do you survive a remake? And then Scream 5 is all right, here we go. It's a remake again. And then now it's we're a franchise. Kind of no shit, Sherlock. Mindy's not very insightful in this at all. In fact, the only thing she does throughout is you're Ghostface, you're Ghostface, you're Ghostface. I don't know you, but you're Ghostface.
I mean, to be honest with you, I'm not a huge Mindy fan. I don't really like her as a character that much, and it's not because
she's poorly written.
I think she just I think her trying to really slam the meta commentary into play is just overly written at this point. It goes well beyond what Randy would have done in those originals. I don't think that it's necessary to really go that in depth and give franchise elements to it. It's too much meta.
It's literally just there because what are you doing in a Scream movie? And this is it. I feel bad because I think Jasmine Savoy Brown does she does a good job, but I think her character is written to be so trite, and so she's two notes. I'm Randy Meeks' niece, and so I got the movie gimmick, and I'm also queer, so here we go. I'm queer.
And I make my own shirts.
And again, it's not because she's, a lesbian that makes it bad, because that's fine. And her relationship actually with her girlfriend in this is actually, really good. It's more that they're fucking jellos suck, and also I'm a lesbian. It's you don't need you don't need to do that. We know you're gay, and it doesn't impact the viewing. It's just you're doing it to hit a beat.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I mean, is that a stereotype now? I don't know. Of that people get pissed off about? I don't know.
I don't know.
Because, Chad's our jock, and now that's the modern day beat they throw in there that pisses people off.
Right.
I don't know. I just wish they would do more with her, because I think her character could be a lot more of, because, again, the play she has with Hayden Panettiere, Kirby, because she was our Scream 4 in a remake. She was our Randy Stanton, our film geek. She, Hayden was great. She had that same, Jamie Kennedy vibe and energy, but to a modern twist, talking about modern day films.
Mm-hmm.
Mindy, and when she was interacting with Mindy in this, it was great, but it was literally for 30 seconds.
Mhm.
Should have been more there. And then it also, with how modern day horror kind of is, it would have been great to see Mindy actually kind of comment on like, is Midsummer horror? Who knows? You would be more to kind of speak to that because I'm a layman, but it would have been more interesting to kind of see her actually talk about some of these films.
Yeah. I mean, I think that like the film's brutality though, to return to the brutalityness of it, is really kind of it's a fun thing for this movie. I think it really makes it stand out from the others. But one of the problems with it is that it's often so brutal that the end of the movie is left scrambling to figure out how to keep people alive so they can come back for another sequel. And at the end of the movie, because most of our core four gets eviscerated in certain ways. You've got Mindy getting stabbed. You've got Chad getting stabbed like 15 times.
Well, it's not even that. Mindy gets her arm sliced in the apartment chase down, and then she gets stabbed a couple of times on the subway,
Yep.
Chad gets absolutely fucking rocked. Which that is nice though when they're in the movie theater and he's actually whooping Ghostface ass, and all of a sudden another Ghostface pops out and fucking gets him, and they just start beating the shit out of him.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool, yeah. But at the same time, in Scream 5, he also got tracked down and like stabbed 17 different times. So it's like, he's already Teflon Don. He already made it through once. You can't, have him get eviscerated like that, and then at the end, be like, oh, he's okay.
Yeah, and then you have Gail too. Gail gets stabbed a bunch of times as well, and
she gets glass rammed through her.
Yeah, at the end of the movie, the film has to kind of just be like,
she's okay.
So guess what? They're okay, and that's pretty much it. It's a very silly way to deal with that, and as you pointed out, Scream has always kind of had that. It was always kind of a running gag. It's like Dewey gets stabbed like, fucking all the time, and
somehow
it's
somehow at the end giving the fingers up like, I'm okay.
He avoids he avoids needing any significant things like a colonoscopy bag or anything that would be widely issued to him. He doesn't run into any of those issues. So it's always been kind of a running gag, but at the same time, this film, it kind of goes above and beyond that to just very silly, especially because the ending of the movie does not really leave enough time to deal with them all. So it's just kind of throws it at you all at once. It's just like, hey, look at that, Mindy's okay, and then, oh, wait a second, they're wheeling Chad out right now. He's fine too. Look, he's even waving to us. Oh yeah, and then we just heard Gail's gonna be okay too. It like
By the way, Kirby was stabbed a bunch of times too, but she's okay as well.
Yeah, you're kind of left getting hit with all of those things all at once at the end of the movie, and it's just, and not only that, Jenna Ortega gets stabbed. I forgot about that. She gets stabbed in the gut. Gonna be okay. And not only that too, this movie almost acts like stabbing is just like a normal day-to-day activity, and you're just going to shrug it off most of the time. The one Ghostface killer gets stabbed in the mouth, into the throat.
And then gets up and
ripped around, too. Not just like stabbed down like he deep-throated a knife. No, he sticks it in and then just...
And they even show, too, the whole, because it's this, more visceral, they show it. Yeah, no, I mean...
He comes back. He's okay.
It's just kind of... It's doing one thing right and then also taking away from it too. Like I was hoping with the whole Gail shit that she made it out, because Gail's always been kind of Teflon like throughout the films. Sydney more so, but Gail's always got into a scrap but somehow survives. So I would have been really pissed if she got killed, but because I don't think it's like the right time to kind of send her off.
Mm-hmm.
But her whole, like, the whole bit with Ghostface in her apartment, that's great. That's well done.
Mm-hmm.
And really tense and really great.
It's kind of like a classic Scream moment, and at the same time, set in a high-rise New York City apartment.
It's great, and to kind of show what a bitch she is, her boyfriend gets fucking pummeled and stabbed, and Ghostface is like, yeah, your big butt, new muscly boyfriend couldn't save you. And she's like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, he says, like, he didn't have enough muscles.
Yeah.
He says he didn't have enough muscles, and she's like, yeah, clearly, or something like that.
Yeah. But I mean, like, it's great, and it's really tense, and then when she gets to her panic room, like, she's able to get her gun out, and then she's like, wait, fuck this, and she goes out, and, like, guns blazing, and then not only that, you have, after that, when she star 69's Ghostface, like, hold on, just 1 second, and he's like, what the fuck, and then she hangs up, and, like, that was really cool, like,
It kind of makes sense too after the Ghostface reveals, and they're like, it makes sense. They don't know what Star 69 is. You can call people back.
Like, I mean, that was really great because just listen to Roger L. Jackson when she's like, oh, hold on a second, and she's like, what the fuck, and then here, which is funny too, because how many people these days, like, if you're like a Gen Zer, know about Star 69?
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It makes sense for the Ghostface killers. They don't know. So it is a good moment. I do think that they wanted Courteney Cox in here, but they couldn't. I feel like they couldn't use her as much as probably most people would have liked. And it does, like you said, I think it does pave the way for her to not come back in the future. To make, maybe the next one her last. It almost feels like this was like getting you ready for the parting. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see that in Scream 7. I know they're already talking about Scream 7, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see that for the next time.
Just give her what they ended up giving Nev in this film. When they asked about
nice happy send off.
Which is kind of like I like, and it's I know there's, reasons why Nev wasn't in this film, but I do like that, they wrote it and it's like, oh, where's Nev? And she's like, she deserves her happy ending.
Yeah, she's like, I'm not coming to help anybody anymore.
Yeah, she like, she packed her family up and went in hiding. Like,
At least
because again, like, especially after Scream 3, the way Scream 3 ends, with the, after all the trauma that she's went through, and then, like, the door brushes open and she's, closes it, and then, like, to kind of close that, chapter in her life, I'd be perfectly fine if, Nev never shows back up again, because, it is kind of, like, it is kind of nice, that idea of, like, yeah, she got her, she's out.
Yeah, I mean, it is nice too that the Ghostface here is not motivated to go after Nev. They're like, it's mostly Sam I'm worried about. Sam's the problem, so we'll let Nev have her nice life. Plus, being out of state and all that. Yeah, so we haven't talked about the Ghostface killers. I guess we should talk about them because clearly it is a big part of the movie. And, again, spoiler if you haven't seen it, now it would be the time to really stop listening. The Ghostface killers, in 3 in all, in this movie.
First time for that.
Yeah. I'm conflicted on whether I like what they did with this or not. On the one hand, I like that there's 3 killers. I think that the motivation is marginally good. At the same time, there are so many holes in the idea behind it that it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense when you try to think about it logically. So it turns out that Richie, right? That's the kid's. Yeah, I keep forgetting. I want to say Riley, but I don't know why. Richie's father has moved to New York City, become the detective that works, and is the guy that they're working with, the Detective Bailey that they're working with. And the idea that this occurs and no one finds out about it, not the police force who are like, hey, you weren't the father of that kid that murdered all those people? Not the people that used to live in Woodsboro, not Gail, who fucking says she's an investigative reporter so she would know how to find out this shit. No one finds out the fact that he was the father. It just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Not Sam, who fucking dated this guy. I just don't understand the idea behind it. They're just like, the review is like, he was your dad? That was your son?
I think they were leaning way too hard into trying to mirror Scream 2. Because that's the only way you can come up with this kind of fucking scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Scream 2, the whole big twist is it's Billy's mother, and
At least that makes a little bit more sense because it is possible for it to be her. In this scenario, I just don't see the logic in thinking no one would be able to know about this. It just doesn't, and again, with Scream, I guess the part of it, watching a horror movie, watching a slasher movie, is being able to turn your brain off for a little bit. But just even if you think about the scenario just slightly, just, like, hey, wait a second, it all kind of breaks down. And not only that, the idea that no one looked into the Detective Bailey's kids or anything like that because he was clearly not a suspect. It just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense when it comes down to it, where you have his son and daughter also being part of the Ghostface killings.
Not only that, though, this film is terrible when it comes to like red herrings and who's the killer.
Mm-hmm.
There's no real red herrings going on. Like Kirby's kind of a red herring, but not really too. But at the same time, you're also kind of like, well, who the fuck's gonna be the killer?
I agree. I don't think that it.
As I say, it's probably gonna be Bailey because when you're like, let's go kill them, he's like, yeah, let's go kill him. Other than that, you're just kind of like what the fuck? There's nothing really to follow except someone's playing up as Ghostface.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't really think that there is any other viable suspect in this movie. The film does try to throw a couple things at you, like it throws Danny at you, who is a total fucking throw that character in the garbage. Just so nonsensically unnecessary to this movie to have this one guy who literally his entire screen time is to walk around looking confused about everything. There's literally the directors went up to him, and no offense to the actor, because you know what, he does a great job of doing that one thing. But the directors came up to him and they were like, "We just be on screen and look like you're searching the mall for the orange Julius, and you cannot find it." You're literally just
more perplexed. You need to be more perplexed.
Yeah, literally all the time. You have no idea what's going on.
You're at Auntie Anne's and they tell you we're out of pretzels. What do you do? Go, what?
That's the character of Danny, because he every time, and even when they talk to him, it's like he just has. They're almost like talking to a child. They're like, "All right, Danny, you stay here." And it's like, why? Because you literally told me in a previous scene not to trust you, so I'm not trusting you. It's like, no, I get it. I get it. No problem.
He's like a Fast and Furious character been thrown into it.
Yeah, he really is. Yeah, totally unnecessary. But the movie gives you characters like that. They're like, hey, maybe it's Danny, and you're like, it's fucking not Danny. Danny can't find the bottom of the trash can. It's not Danny. And then
maybe it's Sam Stairpist, low rat Mark Hamill.
Yeah. It literally can't be anybody else. And actually the film does kind of refer back to that, because then they say, "Oh my God, it's Detective Bailey." He's like, "Of course it is. Of course it's me." And then not only that, but then it gives you two other obvious suspects, Quinn and their son Ethan, right? Is that his name? Ethan, the virgin Ethan guy. And it's like, those are so obvious that I think that the film kind of gets wrapped up in its meta-ness to the point where it did not even try to present you with an other suspect. Like, that's it. That's all you get. And it's not really surprising. It's actually more surprising because we were expecting something a little bit more complicated, and it's extremely not. It's kind of disappointing, to be honest with you. But not only that, like, the idea that it could be Ethan and Quinn, and no one knew that Ethan was Detective Bailey's son, too, just doesn't really make that much sense. It's like, you didn't bother to look into this guy at all, especially because they already suspect him. It's one of Mindy's main suspects at the beginning of the movie. She's like, oh, it's probably Ethan. So the fact that they do zero research means that this core four is really not very good at what they're doing. So, I'm really conflicted. Obviously, I'm really conflicted about how I feel about Scream 6. I think it's a lot like Scream 5 in the fact that I think it does some stuff good. It does some stuff pretty bad. And I think my feeling when I was watching the movie was kind of exasperation. I was, I don't know. I was barely enjoying it, I guess. Coming off of it, thinking about it a little bit more, I think I did have a little bit more enjoyment than I initially thought. But at the same time, I don't like this. This is definitely not, to me, one of the better Scream films in the franchise, especially when it's being given all these accolades. I mean, Scream 4 really deserves all those accolades that it didn't really get. And if we didn't get Scream 4, we definitely would not have these two sequels. Scream 4 does not get the recognition that it deserves, honestly. And I would not say that Scream 5 or 6 comes close to what that film did for the franchise.
It was pretty ahead of its time, like, thinking about it now, like, having the one character, like, filming his entire life. Oh, that's dumb. 2011. Ain't dumb anymore. That's apparently a fucking job now. Yeah. I'm on the TikTok, and I make videos, like 200 videos, and I get 400 likes. I'm a TikToker. What do you do? I mean, he's not doing that, but I mean, like, he's, streaming his life. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I get on YouTube all the time, like, suggestions of people I don't even fucking know. And it's just like, hey, watch this Twitch streamer, somebody playing a fucking video game and, talking about a bunch of nonsense that can't relate to. But again, I'm also a grumpy old man at this point in my life, so.
Sure.
Yeah. But you're right about the Scream 4 not getting the recognition it deserves.
So, on a scale of 0 to 10 usages of Halloween, the holiday, but not really,
well, don't do that
featuring any of the actual portions of the holiday that make sense. Okay, so don't use that as a scale, because we'd have to give it a 0.
You'd have to give it a 0 because it's
to.
Utilization of Halloween is fucking trite and pedantic and terrible.
It surely is. It surely is. That was a really sore spot for me, because I was excited that Halloween was going to be in this movie. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. We get a Scream movie and Halloween, and then it ends up being really disappointing usage.
Well, it technically is Halloween because the main character's last name is Carpenter.
Oh, that is very true. That is very true. All right, so we got to have a different scale. So out of let's see, 0 out of 10 aged Skeet Ulrich reflections, what would you give Scream 6?
I'll give it a 7 out of 10, which is what I gave Scream 5. Like, I will give the Scream franchise one credit, and it's the fact that they make consistently overall enjoyable adventures. Like, there aren't really any bad ones. There's great, middling, but never really anything that you're like, this is dog shit.
Mm-hmm.
This film does have some good ideas. It does have some nice, good things going for it. I like the fact that the kills in this are a lot more visceral. They're a lot more prominent and shown. Like, we didn't even talk about Mindy's girlfriend falling off the ladder and getting her head caved in onto the trash can on the dumpster. That was really cool, you know.
That's
Like-
one of the characters that you hope can't come back. It's like, holy shit, your eye is fucked.
Yeah. You know, and she's also the one that got stabbed, and when she was getting stabbed, she got like seppuku'd, you know, because like when Ghost is stabbing her in the stomach, he like lifts up and you actually get to see that, you know. Maybe that's a little poor choice because she was Asian. But I mean, like, so like that's good. Like, again, like I do like Mindy, I do like Chad, I do like Jenna Ortega as Tara. Sam's the wink link out of this new core 4. She's so fucking dull and just like Mary Sue, like, we gotta stick together, everyone. Like, come on. I'm Billy Loomis's daughter. No, what? Life's so hard. Oh, yeah. You know, it's, and then like Courteney Cox, you know, she's very limited, but when she's there, she's good. Same thing with Hayden Panettiere. When she's there, she's good. Totally underutilized though. The New York setting's okay with me. I could take it either, you know, take it or leave it. It's the idea. Like I think for me, like the fact that it is like tense in its like, you know, stalker aspects is what makes the film, you know, enjoyable. Because other than that, like the meta in this, like the meta commentary, I have conspiracy theories and, you know, supporting movies to the point where, like, you know, people become addicted and all that stuff's very not well thought out, very trite, and not really interesting or grabbing at all. I guess I 7th. Like, for each thing that they do good, they take like in Scream 5, they take a step back. But that being said, it's bless the heart of these new films, because in their mediocrity, at least it's not fucking Danny McBride's Halloween, where your first one's like, hey, this is great. God, what's the future gonna hold? And then you see the future and you're like, oh no. So, you know, I mean, it is what it is. It's not better than Scream 1 through 4. Hard competition because they're not made by Wes anymore. And I think Kevin Williamson's writing is kind of showing its kind of datedness, because the well has been tapped dry. They need to think of something different.
Sure.
It doesn't even really need to be like horror related on like what they kind of want to commentate on. Like, fucking pick something that fits and make it work.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can only do it. You can only do it so often. But I mean, 7 out of 10. It's probably my 5th favorite Scream. So,
Yeah, I mean, I don't recall exactly what I gave Scream 5, but I think I want to give Scream 6 6.5 out of 10. I think, you know, for the most part, it's pretty good. It is enjoyable for what it does. My issues from it really stem from the fact that I think they've run the well dry with some of the meta elements that they're trying with it. You know, you can only do a franchise meta for so long. You know, it's talking about the franchise itself, talking about requels, stuff like that. I think they've kind of run out of ideas for that, especially because they keep revisiting this idea of like making the movie or finishing a movie. You know, especially branching off of what Richie was trying to do in Scream 5. I think that ship has sailed. They got to move on from that. I wouldn't want to see Scream 7 revisit that anymore. Like, we're trying to finish the movie that Richie tried to finish and the ones that the ghost faces in Scream 6 tried to finish. I think that's, you know, that's over. I think that they do a pretty good job with the brutality. I think, that comes with its own caveats, especially since the film has to make up excuses why characters still survive, especially the core four. Its characters are pretty good. I think Sam is probably the most forgettable character, though. I just don't really find her that interesting, and I think they need to skip the Billy Loomis ideas for the next movie if they're going to use her again. I think that's also kind of run out of steam. Especially since they really tried to sell that in this movie, especially, having her kill Detective Bailey at the end. I think that's kind of gotta go as well. The New York City element is pretty interesting. I wish they would use it a little bit more. It's kind of used sporadically, but I think that they could have gotten more mileage out of using more populated areas. And I think that they could have done a little bit more with this Halloween season, as we talked about. It's kind of lacking. Definitely no costumes or not costumes, decorations or anything like that.
No fanfare. No trick-or-treating. Well, imagine like Ghostface, like in how they did Halloween 2018, Ghostface going like door to door.
I know. It'd been really cool. I that was what I was missing from this one, so that was a little disappointing. So overall, I think it was fairly enjoyable. I'm a little muddled with how I feel about the movie. I think it does all right for the franchise. And like you said, the franchise has overall been fairly good as a franchise. It doesn't have any like real big bombs like some of the other long-running franchises have. This one has, for the most part, stayed pretty consistent. While 5 and 6, for me, do not match the quality of 1 and 4 particularly, I'm fine with them continuing the franchise if we get something that is about the same quality as 5 or 6. If it dips any more, though, then I would really be concerned, because I do think that these are slightly higher than mediocre for movies. So
if you had to rate them now, what would you rate them?
Well, I would probably do 1, 4, 2. Yeah, I would do 1, 4, 2, 6, 3, 5, maybe. Something like that. I do think 6 is better than 5, honestly. Marginally better. I think it does a little bit, some things a little bit better, especially because we don't have to meet these characters for the first time. It kind of gets rid of some of that annoyance of them figuring out what's happening, as we've already gone through in the other Screams. So I think this one is a little bit higher than Scream 5. So hopefully Scream 7 will continue that trajectory upward.
I think right now I'm feeling 1, 4, 3, 6, 2, 5.
Okay.
Which, Scream 3, I know a lot of people don't like, but the more I think about, I have nostalgia for it, because it's probably the Scream I've seen. I've probably seen Scream 3 almost as many times as I've seen Scream 4. I used to watch it all the time as a kid. The campiness in that works, I think a lot better than like Scream 2's campiness, because Scream 2's campiness, I always remember being like fucking Scooby-Doo gang bullshit, kind of annoying. Scream 3 is kind of like got a little bit better ideas and stuff, but so my liking of Scream 3 is probably more based on nostalgia than actual fact, but like you said, like Scream 6, I do like, again, I think they did some really good things. I think though, just focus that energy a bit more, because again, it's with every one good thing that they do, they kind of step back. Get that Halloween 2018 energy going on. Focus everything on to hitting every fucking note. And then ruin your franchise in the 8th film.
Right. Go to space in your 8th one.
Go space in space.
Yeah.
Hello, moon rocks.
All right, so
what are they going to do when Roger's voice finally stops?
I know, that's what I was thinking too. They better make a bot to do that for them.
There probably is a bot already, but all right, we need you to record Roger Jackson. We need you to record every word in the English language in different tones and such. So when you're dead, we can replicate this, to get that "Hello, Sydney."
Well, it technically is because I used that for my TikTok video today. So they do have like sort of an AI bot that can do it. So
they win.
All right, so that's our episode on Scream 6. Hope you enjoyed it. I don't even know what we're gonna do next time, so I haven't really thought about it. We'll probably think about it off the air and come up with another idea because I don't really have one right now.
I think I have an idea.
Okay. Talk about it. Give it a go.
I think I have an idea.
If you want to hear what that idea is, you should tune into us. We're on pretty much every podcasting app that you could think of.
By the way, I was going to say,
You interrupted my spiel and you don't even remember.
Okay, it happens.
So we're on pretty much any podcasting app that you can think of. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, home base at our Anchor.fm, which has now turned into Spotify. So subscribe to us, leave us a nice review. Appreciate that. We're on Facebook and Twitter. You can just search for us on there, Blood and Black Rum Podcast. And we have an email address that you can write to at bloodandblackrumpodcast@gmail.com. You can let us know what you like, what you don't like, what kinds of movies you want us to cover, and we'll take that into consideration. Finally, you can donate to us on our Anchor page or on Patreon, and all that donation goes towards beer. So thanks a lot in advance. Thanks for...
Oh, that's it. Did you know that Roger L. Jackson voiced Mojo Jojo?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, he's Mojo Jojo from Powerpuff Girls.
Well, interesting. All right, well, thanks for listening to our episode on Scream 6. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you go out to see the movie. Make Courteney Cox happy.
See her movie, please.
Go see it in theaters.
She has alimony to pay to David Arquette.
That's right. And she needs to eat.
Still does.
Yeah.
Wear a tracksuit, and it's like, Courtney, eat a burger, please.
I know. All right. Thanks for listening. Hope you tune in for our next episodes. And until then,
take care.